there have been questions about his decision-making among some Americans, reflected in some of the polls.
Well, I would say that, as the president said yesterday, but let me try to answer your question again, his focus right now is on taking the steps and making the decisions that he feels are in the interest of our national security and the American people.
Joe Biden! Joe Biden! Joe Biden! Joe Biden!
President's poll numbers have dropped according to polls from a variety of different outlets right now. Do you acknowledge that the public now has some doubts about the president's handling of the virus? And is today's announcement in some ways an effort to try to right that?
This is not a political speech, and it's certainly not about poll numbers.
Whoa! You're a mug for what you did to Afghanistan! Terrible, terrible! Don't sniff them! Terrible! Don't sniff them!
I know you probably don't like to talk about polls, and you might say that they don't mean anything, but it's also fair to say the White House, when there are good polls, you publicize them. So what do you make of these really terrible polls? Are they that he's doing something wrong? Is it just the communication? Or is it he's doing the popular things that have to be done?
Sure. Well, look, I would say that this is a really tough time in our country. We're still battling COVID, and a lot of people thought we'd be through it, including us.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. Buck Joe Biden.
Don't you mean let's go, Brandon?
Let's go, Brandon.
Squeeze in here.
In here?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm not really the customer. The real customer will be here any second now, okay?
Oh, okay.
Now. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. I'm not gonna be a mule. I got something to do. I gotta go do boom boom boom. I'm going nuts. Boom boom boom. And rub my leg down. Boom boom boom. Come back up again. The president has a big stick. Big stick. Big stick.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
And homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
On Friday, we got a little Halloween present from the government. They decided they're going to go ahead and authorize the Pfizer shot for 5 to 11-year-olds. And they're supposedly going to be having them ready to go in arms by Wednesday, all 28 million of them.
Welcome to your nightmare, ha 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 ha.
And of course, there's no reason to be alarmed at any of this. We know that because all of the big major news networks have told us that there is nothing to be worried about. And it's not like they have any kind of conflict of interest.
Good Morning America is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And we can definitely trust the FDA. They never make any mistakes, and they certainly wouldn't have any kind of conflict of interest, like people on the committee making the decision having ties to the very same company they're making a decision on. That would never be allowed to happen. And besides, the rollout has gone so well for the older age groups of people, so well in fact that thousands and thousands of people are willing to lose their jobs over not getting it. There's been organized protests in places like New York, Chicago, LA, Seattle. It's probably just a bunch of right-wing conspiracy theorists, so we'll just discount them as a bunch of crazies. New York might be about to have a shortage of everything from police to emergency responders, firemen. The sheriff's department and the fire department in LA is both refusing to comply, as well as in Chicago. And also healthcare workers. I was surprised to learn just how many healthcare workers happen to be anti-science. But I guess you learn something new every day. Well, one of the big things that everybody's been talking about this week is the whole Alec Baldwin shooting lady thing. And outside of a civil case, a lawsuit, I don't really see much happening, even though there's definitely a few people that fucked up big time. I mean, whether you're talking about the 24-year-old dipshit armorer who was just letting people use this so-called prop gun. They keep using that word, but if it's a gun that actually fires, there are, guns that only fire blanks, and then there are guns that you put blanks into, but that's not a prop gun. There's reports of the crew using these guns for target practice in between takes, and the armorer denies this. She also denied there were any live rounds, but the police ended up doing a search warrant and seizing over 500 rounds. Then there's the fuckwit assistant director that picked up a loaded gun and handed it to Alec Baldwin, telling him it's a cold gun, that there wasn't a live round in it, even though he didn't actually fucking check. And this same guy had been fired off the set of another movie for gun safety issues. And on this very same movie set, like a few days before, you had negligent discharge when the stunt double for Alec Baldwin fired a gun that was supposed to be empty, but it had a live round in it. And then you've got Alec himself, which, yeah, he should have checked. He's also not just the actor, but the executive producer, so he is literally the guy in charge of making sure it was a safe work environment. The camera crew, that lady shouldn't even have been behind the camera, but they had a walk-off of the union camera crew, and so they had to hire a bunch of scabs to come in, and so that's why she was behind the camera at that time, because as a cinematographer, she had to make sure that these, new people weren't fucking things up. The whole thing's a fuck story, and it seems like everybody totally blew it, but I don't expect a whole lot to come as far as repercussions. I mean, outside of a lawsuit and having to make a big payout to her family, I doubt it. We're also still continuing with our complete denial, apparently, of why it is our supply chain is screwed up and just how bad the problem is. They keep trying to just blame this on consumers buying so much stuff. Like, we weren't going through a pandemic locked in our houses all last year with nothing to do but buy shit. Now there's very few places that are even locked down the way it was last year. Down here in Florida, shit is basically back to normal. But even through all the Christmas rush last year of everybody being so scared shitless to go out and buy stuff in a store, they all did all their shopping through Amazon and online sites. And we never got backed up like it is right now. And we haven't even hit the Christmas shopping season yet. And they're telling us, oh, you better hurry up. They're telling us to go start getting Black Friday shit in October. I think the shizzle is about to hit the proverbial fizzle. Take a good look around right now and take a big whiff, because it's never going to get as good as it is right now. A lot of people have been spending the past year and a half walking around talking about, I just want to go back to the way things were before this pandemic started. And a year from now, you might be saying, God, I wish I could go back to the way things were at Halloween 2021. Saw an interesting interview the other day about people buying up bunkers. I'll put a link in the description to it. It's worth watching.
Today, once again, Ron from Atlas Survival is in the house.
Well, the bunker business is booming. There is a panic buy on bunkers right now, especially in the United States. But it's not just the USA, it's gone global. People are worried about the future right now. They're worried about a second round of a pandemic. And I did a video, this is a funny thing. I did a video called Why is Bill Gates Building So Many Bomb Shelters 2 years ago, 6 months before the COVID. And in that video, now Bill Gates has several properties. And on every one of his properties, he put in a $5 million bunker. And he has tunnels leading from the house and all kinds of secret passages and stuff. So anyway, so in the interview, he basically says, I'm worried about a virus hitting the earth greater than Ebola, and I put the odds at it around 50% in my lifetime. Now, if you go to the Denver airport, they have a plaque there, and it says New World Airport. I know the guy who built the bunker. I've done videos with him. I've talked to him. It was christened in 1994. But that bunker was designed...
You're talking about the bunker under the...
The bunker under the Denver airport, which supposedly doesn't exist, but it exists.
So you're telling us right now that the bunker under Denver airport exists?
It exists.
Okay.
And I will spill a little bit of the beans, and I hope the feds don't come knocking on my door. But supposedly, allegedly, it has enough food supplies to house 500,000 people for, I believe, 3 years is what it is. It's been a while since I talked about it.
Well, it would make sense because it's the geographic center of the USA, right? Like mostly, and it's at one of the highest elevations.
Well, they chose it for a reason. And when they were building the Denver airport, airports don't go over budget by $14 billion, okay? But I have never seen demand so high as what I'm seeing right now for bunkers in the United States. Matter of fact, it's not just the United States. I have projects in the Middle East. I have projects in Europe. We have the new Polish factory. I don't own it. It's one of those license deals. He's basically building my bunkers under a license deal. But the demand for bunkers has gone up worldwide, and it's really the elites that are buying them. So the average bunker I used to sell 5 years ago was $75,000. The average bunker I do today is like $250,000. And most people don't have $250,000 just sitting in their bank that they can stick in a hole in the ground. America is just within days, if not weeks, of a rebellion. Not a violent rebellion, just a rebellion because people are losing their jobs and government is telling us things that we have to do that we don't agree with. And things like this is what's leading to my phone ringing off the hook. People, they want a safe place to take their family because they feel the end is getting very close. And what are they going to do? They want to do the same thing that they do with the President of the United States. And what do they do when he's threatening and he's sitting in the White House? They take him down into a bunker. And that's the same protection that you want to give to your family because there's nothing else you can do. Now, as far as the government bunkers go, the government bunkers are called DUMBs, and that's an acronym that was coined by my friend, and it stands for Deep Underground Military Bases. Okay? Now, there are supposedly, don't hold me to this, but there's supposedly 7 or 8 DUMBs in the central and western part of the United States. Now, these DUMBs, which is the Deep Underground Military Base, they hold anywhere from thousands of people to hundreds of thousands of people. And supposedly, and of course I've never seen it, but there's high-speed trains all underground, so they never even have to come out the ground. They have tunneling machines that are just going from one dumb to the other, and that's how they get from dumb to dumb. Now, as far as the government building more military bunkers right now, I have not heard of them doing. They did all this 25 years ago. So the DUMBs are in place, and they're manned, and they're probably controlled by the Air Force. You say, why the Air Force? Well, they're the ones that control all this stuff. They control Cheyenne Mountain, and they control a lot of this stuff. So the Air Force is the one that's controlling these.
What's the one called Raven Rock?
Raven Rock is the main one now for the U.S. Congress, which is, I believe, in Maryland. It used to be was it the Greenbrier? Yeah, was it? But they changed it because everyone figured it out. But is the military and the U.S. government preparing for stuff? The answer is no, not right now, because they already prepared.
News broke over the weekend of a Southwest pilot signing off on his announcement to the passengers with "Let's Go Brandon," and there apparently was an AP reporter on the plane, so it turned into a big fuss, and now that pilot's being investigated. But it was hilarious when I woke up this morning and they reported it on the TV. They refused to say what it was this pilot had actually said. They simply referred to it as a slur linked to an anti-Biden chant. And as of the last time I checked, it was still the top of the charts on iTunes for all music. And on the top rap and hip-hop songs, you've got number 1, Let's Go Brandon, number 2, Let's Go Brandon, number 3, Let's Go Brandon, number 4, Let's Go Brandon, and number 9, Let's Go Brandon. Half of the top 10 of rap and hip-hop music is literally the same titled song at the same time. And I know they would love to deem this as a racist kind of thing, but it's going to be pretty hard to do that with the way it's taken off in the hip-hop community. Although with them branding Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy, I wouldn't put anything past them. And it's not just hip-hop, there is all different kind of genres getting in on this fun. So I put together a little sampler for you to enjoy.
Do not like your mental haze. I do not like your leftist ways. I do not like your son on blow. I do not like you, Mr. Joe.
Let's go, Brandon!
Let's go, Brandon!
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Biden's husband. They actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
I know a guy who can barely speak, but he don't bully or send mean tweets. He gives all the young girls a scare. I wrote the bill. Rubs their shoulders and sniffs their hair. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Brandon, Brandon, Brandon. What did you do? Brandon, Brandon, Brandon. Brandon, Brandon, Brandon. Brandon, Brandon, Brandon. Here's what we did.
Look at Brandon living in a White House. Look at Brandon drooling on the floor. Look at Brandon making lots of money, stealing from the rich and stealing from the poor. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon, till we can't go no more.
People are dying at an exponential rate. So we voted in Joe Biden 'cause that other guy got a lot of hate. Joe killed 10 civilians in Kabul with a drone. But Brian Laundrie got more press, so we'll leave that shit alone. The crowd is screaming, go Brandon. Gas prices are rampant, and the bathroom signs are so confusing.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Let's go, Brandon!
They must think we're really stupid, like we don't know what they're saying. What? Biden in the office has them going super sane. Crazy. All those taxes pay for suits they're getting tailored, while we have to wait bi-weekly to get paid for our labor. See, if Joey knew I couldn't borrow sugar from neighbors, cause you know I live in apartments and everyone has their layers. I hear babies crying and I know their people can't feed them. Damn. Cause everybody in the world's quarantined. And if that lady heard "Let's go, Brandon," man, I'm dreaming. They were yelling "fuck Joe Biden" cause Trump got deleted, and now they don't have a president for 16 seasons. Damn, that's hella long. It's hilarious, right? Yeah, it really is, man. It's a real kicker. Wait, who's this guy?
Public defenders turn to judges. Hey, do it. Thanks to Biden.
Biden only cares about black people.
That's why we ride. He's trying to change the system from inside it. Oh, even with a diaper, he keep wiping. Yeah, he over, he's still fighting.
Now they at the hella green card, like they don't know that Biden be the mean one. He on the stove. We was yelling Black Lives Matter. They didn't care. They didn't conquer and divided for 400 years. We had to deal with your president for 4. Now y'all gotta deal with us for 8 more.
Case closed.
Let's go, Brandon.
Okay, all right. Go, 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 go. Oh, yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Oh. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Oh. So let's go. Hey, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. And finally, Biden has been across the pond all week for the COP26 climate change talks, and an interesting thing happened when he met with the Pope. Suddenly the White House feed got cut, and they never really released any video with audio of him talking with the Pope. And the rumor going around Rome is that Biden had himself a little accident, that he, in fact, shit his pants.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
That's when I wet my pants. I wet my pants.
Now, I don't know if this is 100% true, but you have to ask yourself, if it did turn out to be true, would you be the least bit surprised? He's been shitting his pants in the more figurative sense ever since day one of his presidency, so it was really only a matter of time until it happened in the literal sense. And this is all happening within just the first year, so keep that in mind. It's all gonna go downhill from here. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. Come on.
I told you! Don't fuck with me! I told you! Don't fuck with me! You stupid fuck! Look at you now! Look at you now!